Hey everyone, welcome to UI Dev Guide. So basically in this video, we will be seeing some interview question related to the Publicis Sapient. So this is the most demanding interview question series. So we have covered HTML, CSS, JavaScript and Angular questions. So this is respective to with Angular. So we have some question related to React as well. So we will do another interview for that as well in the coming days. So we will see these questions right now. So let's begin with it. So before going to the each segment of the interview question. So before that, most of the viewer are just watching our video, but they are not subscribing to us. So please make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. So it will encourage us to create more videos like this. So it can help the other people as well. So those are looking for a job, and it can help us as well to grow. So let's start with it. So first segment is related to JavaScript. So the actually the Publicis Sapient has a they have a number of questions with them, so they have to ask every question related to the each topic. So I have covered only the few of them. So I got this question from the one of my friend who has given interview in the previous days. So I have got this question. I checked in the LinkedIn as well, and I have been searching for this question on the Glassdoor as well, then Ambition Box as well. So I have created a few of them, and so I have added over here. So first question is related to the execution context in JavaScript. So you should know about the how the execution context works in the JavaScript. So how the memory allocation happened, then how the memory allocation after what happens, how the code get executed of the JavaScript. So you should know about this as well. So the next question is related to the ES6 feature and ES5 feature. So you can describe the what are the advantages of ES6 over ES5. So and the limitation of ES5. So you can prepare for this as well. So this is the most asked interview questions in the theoretically. Then what is the async programming? So you know about the JavaScript is synchronous programming. So how can we make it as a asynchronous? So you should know about the callback, then set time, then promise, then async await. So this type of question they will ask you. So I have been covering only the high level of questions. So depend upon your answer, they will ask you the another deep level question. So according to your experience again. So you should prepare such kind of things only. So I must say that whenever async programming comes, you should know about what is callback, then what is the problem with callback, then how can we make asynchronous programming without callback or promise or something. So at that time you know about the basic set timeout. Then what is the problem with callback? Okay, so the problem with callback is that callback helps. So how can we override that? So with a promise we override that. Okay, so next question is the what is the better way to write asynchronous programming without promise? So then we come to the async await. So this is how you can prepare. So one by one is there linking. So you can note down these questions, and according to that create your own notes. So whenever someone asks you related to async, so from here you have to start and here you have to end. So in that way interview will be he will be able to give the proper answer, so he can think about it. So you know the better knowledge of this question, so you are good in this technology. So this will help you. Again, the what is the event loop, then how it works. So basically we have call stack, and event loop is continuously checking to the your call stack is empty or not. So if you have something related to the asynchronous programming, then it will put that into callback queue and all. So this question will be covered here. So same way here also you can do. So what is event loop? What it does basically, and what it exactly does with the call stack. So you can create a step-by-step notes for it, so as well. So it will help you. Again, what is difference between macro task queue and the micro task queue? So this is another in-depth. Actually, these are the both the questions are the in-depth questions. So according to your experience, they will go through this question and they will try to ask you the another counter question related to that with the microtasking and the microtasking. So the next question is what is callback and set timeout and promise. So basically, as we discussed in the async programming, so this is the way you have to start your answer. Callback, then set timeout, then what is the promise, then what is the promise chaining, what is the promise all, then what is the type of promise. So you have to explain one by one of this question. So till async await. So as we discussed in the async programming, this is related to that only. So you have to be clear that from here you have to start for the first specific answer and here you have to end. So this will help you and interview as well. So you have good knowledge of the topic. So you can explain in the better way. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. So okay, so what is the nodal system in the JavaScript basically? So you can create one function in one file, then you can export that function and you can import that into the another file. Then you can do the some manipulation into that file, and it will get data from that. So this is the module system we have. So you can check it. So basically JavaScript info is the website where you can read about this. So it is they have explained very well over there. So the next question is what is the design pattern? So this is the question asked mostly according to your experience. So you should know about the factory function. So what is singleton function, then what is the constructor based functions. So you can prepare for this as well. So what is the higher order function and pure function? So sometimes what's happen, one function takes another function as an input and it will return something to it. So this is kind of the functions we have. So they have the properties of that function. So depend upon, we have the n number of type of function. We have higher order function, then pure order function. So if you are still confused between higher order and pure function, please let us know. So we can create a short video for this. So we can create the short for this. So yeah, so the next question is very basic one. So we can say what are the variable types of we have, then what is the scope, what is the data type, then operator, what operator we have, then loops, how many way we can loop and all. So and the last question is call apply, and this is the most asked interview question in every interview. So you should know about the what is call, apply and bind. So what is difference between call and apply, and what is exactly different between bind? So call and apply has a call will take as an argument as a comma separated, apply will take as a array formatted, and bind will create a reference of that function to some variable, and it will not execute it as soon as we are calling to call and apply. So it will hold that something functions reference in the one variable, and it will run when you call it. So this is the call apply bind. So these are a few common questions I found over there related to JavaScript. So they have also asked, depend upon interviewer, so they will ask you some other question as well. But basically, you should prepare according to this question. So if someone asks to ask an interview question related to the in-depth, so you can prepare for that as well. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. So what is HTML CSS related question? So okay, so you know that the HTTP request will pass from the frontend to backend. So just overall idea you should know. So how it works basically. So when you enter www.google.com, what exactly happens at the server side, how that page get rendered. So this is the question. So you can prepare according to your experience. If you have experience 5 plus, so you should know about what is the lifecycle method for the HTTP request. Then what is the DOM and CSS DOM? So basically when you create a HTML file, so it will create a tree kind of structure, and if you are passing some style class to it, so basically CSS plus DOM is equal to CSS OM. So basically it is the combination of DOM and CSS. So you can read, there is one good article we have for the on the medium.com, so they have explained very well. So on that you can found this. So you should know about as a front-end developer. So the next question is what is semantic tags and accessibility? So ES5 feature introduced the semantic elements, semantic HTML. So you know about the why we use it. Then another thing, what is the benefit of it? Then if you are not using, then what will happen? And related to the accessibility guideline, this is the kind of the question asked for the more experience, we can say basically. So but if you have less experience like the 2 years 3 years, so then also you can prepare for the accessibility as well. So we have seen multiple times over there when subtitles come. So if someone is not able to listen anything, so he can read about the subtitles. Then if you are pressing any blind person come to your website, so he should able to access. So you can access the full website with only the tab keys or arrow keys. So this is kind of things comes into accessibility. Okay, we'll move to the next. What is the form and validation? So what type of form you can create in HTML, CSS, and can you apply the validation on that fields like the required we use? So you can try to create a simple form in the JavaScript only, and try to add a validation over there before submitting something. Okay, so next is what is the media responsive images, audio, video? So these tags we have image tag, audio, video to represent the media kind of things over there. So if you are passing some audio, so we usually show the HTTP request as a source in the audio. So they have multiple things over there as a attribute. So you should know about those as well. Okay, so the next question is related to the caching and local storage, session storage, index DB. Mostly we know about the local storage and session storage and cookies, but we don't know about the index DB, web SQL, service worker, and web workers. So web workers you might heard about them in the interviews, but this index DB and SQL service workers mostly we did not work, and we are not aware about it. But as per the they have this list over there as well. So someone asked a few of the candidates. So you should know about this as well in the basic as well. So at least you should know what is the index DB, from where it comes, and where we can find the index DB. How can you store the data over there? How many days it will be there? Like the way we know about the session storage and local storage only. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. So yeah, so what is SEO? So you might have about the search engine optimization. So what are the tags we have to use to make it as our website as SEO friendly? So it will rank much top as per the SEO standard. So what are the things you have to do for the SEO in the website? Okay, so the next question is CSS rules, specificity, pseudo classes, and pseudo element. So CSS rules you might know about the if you are putting some CSS in the inline, then external CSS, then at the top of the CSS. So these are some rules we have over there. And again, another things if you are passing as a class and ID on the same element. So which one has a higher precedence we can say, so it will apply to that CSS to that. So this is the specificity. So nowadays specificity is the most demanding interpretation. So how it get calculated, you can see this W on the W3 school. So they have a very good explanation about the specificity and the rules over there as well. So inline CSS has a more precedence. Then you have to, if you are using ID, then ID has more precedence than the class. And then a pseudo element, pseudo classes also comes with it. So difference between both, they will also ask what is the exactly the pseudo element, so what is the pseudo classes. So you might heard about the whenever you hover on the button, so you need to show some background of the button change or something. So this is kind of the pseudo class, and pseudo element is nothing but you have some span element and you want to make it the first element of that span as a capital or a big. So at that time we use a pseudo element. So if you are confused between the pseudo classes and pseudo elements, so let us know in the comments so we can create a short for this. Okay. So, yeah, so this question we have already seen, the stable accessibility. Okay, so in terms of CSS it is actually. So what is the flex layout and the bootstrap? So we have the flex layout. So we use the flex and display flex, and then this is the type of the display flex basically. So we need to use a row column kind of the architecture over there. So how can you do that? Suppose you are creating a 4 element into the row, but in the mobile you want to show as a vertical. So what property you have to set, and how can you make a div as a center with the flex layout? And then bootstrap also you might know about. So new feature, what are the new classes comes with a bootstrap 5 also. Okay, so as we discussed for the responsive web design as a mobile and tablet, so this is the kind of thing. So, and the next question is what is the media query? So what things you have to write depends upon the port size. So we write the media queries as well. So, and if you are using the bootstrap, so you can write down the bootstrap classes, so it will automatically create a kind of architecture for the mobile and tablet as well. Okay, so what is the CSS preprocessor? So if we are in terms of talking about the Angular, we use SCSS over here. So yes, the preprocessors has we can say that the more power with the CSS. So earlier we are not able to do the nesting, then we are not able to create a variable. So then mixing, so we don't have, then we cannot extend one CSS to the another CSS. So these kind of things comes with the preprocessor. So we have SAS lace as well. So this kind of things comes with the CSS preprocessor. So you should prepare for this as well. Okay, so the last things is related to Angular. So what is the custom element in the Angular? How can we create it? So you can search about it. And then if they will give you an architecture of the project, then they will ask you how can you split this application into the multiple components. So just give the architecture of it. So you can give your best. So these things comes to the shared one, then this will be comes as a container component kind of the architecture you can give. So yeah, so this is the one question. If you are good in the Angular components, then you can easily give the architecture for that. So what is the view encapsulation? We talked about the view encapsulation in my previous videos as well. So this is also the one of the past question. Then view child, view child, view children, and input output as well sometimes asked. So you can prepare view child versus view children. What is the difference? Okay, so what is the type of the data binding we have? So how many way we bind the data into frontend to, sorry, into the HTML to component level? How can we pass the event from component to your HTML or HTML to component, vice versa kind of things? What is the inbuilt attribute and structural directive? So you might heard about the ngIf and ngFor, then ngSwitch. These are the attribute structural directive. So these are the structural directive. Basically, we consider it helps us to change the structure of the HTML depend upon our condition. So this is it. Okay. So the next question is what is the how can we create our custom directive as well? So sometimes we have a requirement kind of thing. So suppose you have two buttons, success button and the danger button or the cancel button. So you want to show the CSS of the cancel button something different than the success one. So you can create one custom directive and you can pass through two values of it. So success or danger. So depend upon that, you can write some CSS over there with the help of the CSS host binding. So over there with it, so you can do the changes for the according to the your type of the directive. So you can do that. So this is the one example you can show. You can give them. So what is the custom directive, and when you can prepare for this to create a custom directive. Okay, so next question. Yeah, so as we talked about the host listener and host binding, so in that case, your host listener will be your button. Host binding is nothing but you are passing some CSS to it with the help of the rendering method. So you can prepare for this. These three methods you will require while creating your custom component and passing some data. So you need to pass some parameter from your button. So that would be the host listener. So because that button is listening something coming from the your directive. That is one. So what is the inbuilt pipe? So we have inbuilt pipe as a format we have, then we have uppercase, lowercase, then you can do manipulation in the date as well. So what type of date you have to format. So this comes with the inbuilt pipe. Then how can we parameterize? How can we pass some parameter to it? So can we use multiple pipes on the single single element we can say. The next question is chaining of it. So how can we pass the multiple? So this is the same chaining of the custom pipes. Can we do a can we create a custom pipes with a single element? So this is the one you can prepare for it. So the next question is what is async pipe? So this is the we can say that so it is kind of the built-in pipe, so it get automatically get executed as soon as it get something happen into your observable, it get automatically subscribed. So it has some limitations as well. So you can prepare for that limitation as well. And what is the advantages of the async pipe as well? Okay, so next question, what is the need of services, service instances, component communication using services? So in this services kind of thing, so they will ask you the n number of questions depend upon the your service instances. They will ask you how to create a service first, then what is injectable over there, how can we inject that service at the component level, then at the module level. If you are injecting at the service component level, then module level, so what instance will be there, how many instances it will be creating. So this kind of question it comes with it. So yeah, so next question is angular modules, feature modules, shared modules, and the lazy loaded module. So this is another the question depend this question will be coming as a for experience we can say. So if you are creating some, if you know about the feature module, then shared module, it is well and good. So but if you don't know, so try to read about it, so it will help you as well. Okay, so the next question is related to the form. So basically, so what is the template driven form and the reactive form? So what are the things we have to import in the app.module to create these forms? Then what are the built-in something forms built-in things comes with a your validator kind of things. We can say we have to use a form element, then form group we have to use, form control we have to use if are creating the reactive. So what is the benefit of the reactive forms over the template driven form? So if you are if you have only the 2-3 components elements into your form, so what would be the preferable? So this kind of question will become with it. Okay, so next question is what is the subject and what is the type of subjects? It is related to the RHS only. So this question most of time get asked because component communication, whenever we say that we use input output to make a communication between parent child. So whenever it comes to the sibling component communication, we have to use subject only. basically with the services. So every time, every interview will ask you this question. So do read about it. What are the types we have? Then what are the things comes with it, and how can we use it? So we have subject, behavioral subject, less subject, and async subject. These are the core subject we have. Okay, so what is interceptor for the request and response? So what is the use of interceptor? Basically is to create an interceptor, what CLI command you have to use, and where you have to import this interceptor to make it as a usable. So this is the one question. Okay, so what is the can active, deactive, and resolve? So these are the guards, nothing but. So whenever you are coming to something route level things, configuration, we have to use this kind of thing. So resolve, what will it will do? It will make an API call, and as soon as you get a data from backend, then only your component get loaded. So can active also do same thing. So it is not related to that only. So if you are authorized user, then only your route get activated. And suppose you have one form into your HTML, and you are moving to from that component to another component, so can deactivate will be trigger over there. So are you sure you want to make the navigation from component A to B, because your data will be lost? So these kind of things you can say in this question. So before that, we just read about it, so you can have some more clarity. And I will give you one simple thing. So whenever you are talking about anything, so make it as a explainable as a for example. So it will help you to explain as well, and it will be easy to understand for interviewers as well. So if you give with the example, so they will understand very easily. Okay, so have you written any test cases for your Angular application? So what are the things we have to cover over there? So what is the code coverage we have to prefer to while pushing? So solar solar cookies over there. So it will check your code coverage, and also how much threshold you have been over there. So this kind of question they will ask you. So have you been tested your services component or not? Like that. Okay, so code formatting, then ESLint we use, and ESLint also I have not added over here. So, but you can prepare for ESLint as well. So, what are the things comes with ESLint? So, what is the benefit of it? So, this is the unit testing. Git hooks you should know about the CI/CD integration. If you done anything related to the CI/CD, then you can mention and you can talk about it as well. So, if you are not done, so you can simply say I have not get chance to work with it. So, last question is what is the NGRX and the server side loading your Angular application? So mostly asked, this is another most asked question after the subject operator. So if you work with NGRX, then you can talk about it. If you are not, then you can mention like the way I did not get chance to work with it, so but I'm looking for it as well. So I know bit idea about the NGRX but I'm over there, but I did not get chance like that. So at least they will know that you know something related to this, but you did not get chance. So if you get selected, then they will give something related to that. So in between that time, you can prepare for that as well. Okay. So yeah. So okay. So these are the questions asked in that interview. This question I got from my one of my friend. So we'll wrap up over there. Thank you for this.